Good morning. It is November the 5th. What we do here today is not the most important thing that can be done today. But we are here, Commissioners Daryl Banks, Cliff Mears, Tony Vero, our clerk, Stacy Crawl, our assistant clerk, Heather Tillman, and Adam Gove, our engineer. With us online is Carl Hunnell from the Richland Source. And the first thing up on the agenda is the engineer's budget. So you have the floor, sir.
All right, we'll start with the general fund, the two in the general fund budgets. Tax map. Big changes, I put in there like I have the last couple years, termination pay in case one of our employees decides to retire. I don't know if it happens this year or not, but is eligible. And I put that in there just in case it's a couple of years.
Answers one of my questions.
Any other questions on the tax map?
Yeah, you previously had a part-time employee. You didn't have it in for last year. Don't have it in for this year. Any thoughts on obviously the budget, but curious as to when you decide you may need a part-time or may not.
At this point, with 3 full-time employees, we do not need a part-time.
You had a part-time, you didn't have.
We have the.
Right.
Yeah, so I would say at this point, we're not in need of it. Could become needed if somebody were to retire or leave the office. Other questions on that one? I will switch to the ditch fund. Pretty much the same as tax map. There's no real major changes here. I think that 3.5% increase. Wages.
No, that's good. No questions there.
Yep. The engineers' budgets. First one I'll go over is 136, the auto license and gas tax fund. Biggest change here, equipment, field and shop equipment. We have not purchased a new dump truck in the last 2 years. So we are planning to purchase 2 of those and possibly 2 pickup trucks as well. One for the highway department and one for the engineer's office. Tandems are running probably 250, 250. We will look around to see if there's used equipment like we typically do. But we do need to upgrade our dump trucks for the coming year to make sure we have good, reliable frontline trucks when we're needed to be out for snow and ice control.
These are the big.
These are the big ones, yes.
And the one thing I always check with all our budgets, even non-general fund, because it doesn't draw distinction between general fund and non-general fund as to what at. But we do give deference to non-general fund and other elected officials. So I always check carryover in relation to the budget expense estimates. Kind of want to see how cash balances are doing both ways, right?
Right.
Taxpayers may eventually say you have too much money.
Right.
Or you could say you don't have enough money. So it just kind of monitor balances across all our accounts. And I have noticed 2022, that proportion was about 43%. I'm looking at 2025 and that's down all the way to about 22.4%. So I noticed that the cash balance is shrinking. Not that 22% is good, but curious if that's a concern to you or.
It is a concern, not that to where that level is. I think that's still a comfortable carryover. Obviously our revenue is pretty stagnant at just over $6 million in this particular budget, for the last 3-4 years. Obviously, the cost to do our projects has gone up over those 4 years, continues to rise. But I try to avoid having too much carryover, because then people will say, well, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you paving this?
Balance the governments have to.
Right.
do.
Yeah, so
Gotta keep money on hand to do projects, but if you have too much, and rightfully so, we're all taxpayers. Why do you have that much? Is there a set amount or a target you look at? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just asking, as there's been a 20% reduction.
I'm comfortable with about 20% carryover year to year, but
The interest, you've got 20% carryover, and you obviously lost some of the carryover. Used it, or I shouldn't say lost, you used it,
sure.
but the interest is down 40%. And that seems a little,
Yeah, that's from the state. So that's the money that they are collecting on the gas tax, because there's a 2-month window from when they collect it to when they send it out to the counties. They are collecting interest on that money, and then they send it back to the counties.
send the interest back to you.
Correct. So,
That's not on your balance, that's on the
correct.
easy
The state-
taxes, state balance, gas tax. And
Yes.
all right, fine.
I don't know where that's gonna go, obviously with,
Expecting it to be so low, is it a decrease?
that's my own. That's because the federal rate, I think, coming down, going to affect that interest rate.
Reasoning behind that from there, do you know?
Today,
Is it less gasoline, less?
No, it's just the interest that they earn on that money from in that 2-month window. That's not, that does not come from the state. That is my own projection based on, we used to collect about 20,000, if that, in a year. And now, we've collected 106,000 this year, or projected to collect about 106,000 in interest, which is a lot. I mean, that's more than I've seen in the,
No different than the county. It's
Years.
great when the economy's.
Right.
Has about 3.7 in for next year.
this equipment, I see you got $45,000 for there.
So we are gonna have to upgrade a couple computers, which obviously doesn't take 45,000, but I was also looking at upgrades to security at the highway department and maybe some cameras on the buildings. Depending on where that goes, I also want to invest in some cameras for our vehicles after the recent accident we've had. Nice to have some additional layer of confidence of knowing what's going on out there. So
The equipment other than office supplies. I know we're nitpicking,
this is office equipment, not office supply.
saying for the trucks.
It could be. I mean, I could move that to the equipment line item, or if we have some left over after we would purchase other equipment, we could pull it from there. That's kind of my plan. That,
Planning on laying somebody off?
no. But I've been burnt on unemployment in the past. Somebody has left and then got laid off from that following job.
I understand that.
So I just a little bit in there.
Yeah, that's entirely wrong. That's the way it is.
Yep. I think the only other item I had, I did have appears to be a typo in the PERS line item. I think that should be closer to 379,000, 359,000.
You want to restate that?
I will make the correction and resubmit.
Correct.
Probably not. It probably would go up by 20,000.
A quick question for you.
Sure.
Sales at auction is down quite a bit. Maybe last year, or this year, I should say, was an aberration. It's quite a bit more. But you're buying dump trucks and pickups. Are any of those going to go to auction?
So
You're replacing, in other words, these additions.
dump trucks may go, not dump trucks, sorry, pickup trucks may go. Dump trucks, we are just down a couple right now.
Those will be addition.
Now, we're not I think we got rid of couple pickups and had some unloaded on this year that I'm expected for next year. Any other questions about?
Oh, I have some on the personal service schedule.
Sure.
You and I discussed it briefly yesterday, which are represented, which are management, but with the management group, starting with the three foremen, the changes are, well, I won't say all over the place, but radically different. They're not consistent throughout.
Sure. So the drainage tech position is currently unfilled. We spent, that person will do our bridge inspections. Spent 5 years getting somebody trained to do that, and then they up and left and went to another county department.
Was this recent?
Yes, so spring.
Okay.
So that one may be a little more, that was, it may take. The state law requires somebody to either have a PE or have 5 years experience in bridge inspections. Able to go out and inspect bridges on their own. So finding a person to do that is probably going to cost us more than the position is taken in the past. And we want to do that quickly. We don't want to spend another 5 years training somebody to do that position, so. And that's the same with the other engineering positions there. This is what I'm asking to be authorized to do, not saying it's final and that's what it's going to be, but, we do need to make some adjustments in our engineering positions based on what I've seen from other counties, from ODOT, from private sector. We are needing to make an adjustment to be more competitive. On 500 County Road and Bridge. Similar to last year, this goes strictly to infrastructure improvement projects, designs, materials, contracts. Loan, we have a couple loans through the Ohio Public Works Commission. This year we'll be adding another one. Doesn't come on your books. The project's complete. And I think that loan came from our resurfacing project last year. So that loan amount payment will increase, but it's 25 instead of 24. Any questions on that with your budget? Horse-drawn vehicle fund, 5.
Favorite fund and all the budget.
Again, this money is collected through donation. We then at some point in the year, we'll transfer that into our 500 budget to go towards infrastructure projects. We've already received 12,000 donation this year, and I just got word from the Ohio Road Maintenance Fund out of Millersburg that they were sending their donation here soon. I don't know what that amount will be, but I would expect it to be at least $3,000. So we should be coming in around that 15,000.
It is without a doubt. You and I have talked about that when going around to the townships. And it's a justifiable question. And I know that they're having some conversations at the state level is the tires from not just the buggies, but the farm equipment that absolutely beat up the roads.
Correct. Yeah. And we've seen it. It's getting worse. There's more steel wheel tractors on roads. They're farming farther away from their usual home base site. They're buying up land and farming it and using those steel wheel tractors to get to and from those places. So obviously $15,000 donation is greatly appreciated, but
What will that fix? Maybe a pothole or a.
talking about less than a mile of chip and seal. Our chip and seal costs are over $20,000 a mile. So
I think that's something we can talk to state representatives,
I have.
senators.
I have.
we have, and I have just within the last 2 weeks, and it's because it's such a unique issue. It's not a statewide issue, obviously. It's for those people who have Amish and Mennonite communities in their counties. It really narrows down on who at the state level has an interest.
Keep fighting for that.
It's a great question from the trustees. I get it.
Our ditch funds, McKinney Ditch, we are collecting on Dogwood Estates and still working with the township to try to get that retention basin mowed on a semi-regular basis. Again, that's something that we will need to revisit in 25. Possibly upping those assessments to do a maintenance on what the community wants, which is like every other week. We just don't have those funds to cover that type of mowing on those retention basins. Then Vermilion River Maintenance Fund, this is a long ways. Have a little over $5,000 in that fund. And we were contacted by a resident out there that wants to have some work done, so we'll go out and check that out over the winter and see about doing something next year, but I did not put that in there yet, just that I don't have an estimate.
Can't be it's the headwaters of the Vermilion River.
Correct, yeah.
Whereabouts is,
It's up in Butler and Blooming Grove Township. I'm not even sure of the full extent of it, but I'll have to go through my files and figure that out. It's back from the 50s. It's sitting there for a long time. Any questions on any of that?
no? Carl, do you have any questions?
No, sir, I don't, but thank you.
Wow. Thank you.
Preparation.
Get with Jenny to tell her the exciting news.
And change the columns?
We ask him that every year.
I'll go back and do it now, and I can't promise that I won't change it back when I.
Shows what kind of clout we have then.
Oh, he doesn't, he got no respect. We're the Rodney Dangerfield of elected officials.
Try to remember to remind you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
Great job.
You do.
I do have a beef. Your wife said the cutest county engineer. She must not know a lot of county engineers. She went,
I don't know.
I mean,
She's met a couple.
that's true though. I have seen them all at conference. Might be right.
Thank you.
See ya.
Have a good
Are you the youngest one?
I'm not. Pretty close, but.
I'll bet you are. Most of them walk around with walkers and canes.
How old's the Erie County engineer?
He did just turn 90.
He's 90 and he's the Erie County engineer.
At least he does have a contested election this year.
Probably could give us some hints on,
They did.
He did.
he could probably give us some hints on horse and buggies.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on to other. Can we certify the record of proceedings for October the 31st?
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
And can we approve the requisitions?
So moved.
Second.
Banks.
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow.
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yeah.
And can we approve agreement for the mobile mammogram?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes. And can we approve the lease agreement with Soil and Water? Longview?
It's for 3 office spaces and I guess it's boot, but pretty backdated, Stacy. Any reason why it took so long?
I was waiting that long to get it from him.
Okay. It goes back to July. All right, motion.
Second.
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
And the court has asked us to increase the juror fees from to $30 for a whole day and $15 for a half day.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Can we certify the monthly delinquent sewer bills?
Second.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
And we have can we approve the Dearman moving contract for the clerk of courts to
I'll
move?
make a motion with a knock on wood that we will be ready to open on Monday, November 25th.
Oh, second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
And approve the proposal from Lake Erie Electric, the people sign for $1,985.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Yes.
Anything else before the board?
For me.
No.
Carl, you have a question?
Yeah, if I could, the juror fees that you guys increased, $30 for a full day, 15 for a half. What were the rates prior to this?
25 and 12.50.
I think they're each going up $5. Brent just talked about it. Wasn't it, was it 12.50? I didn't think I think it'd been 10 and 20. I think they're going up. We'll get the exact amount, Carl. Brent just talked about it. Hold on, it's in his letter. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, I've got 25 and 12.50.
Oh, it is 25, 12. Okay. So it's going what, up $2.50 and $5. And that's what they were previously, by the way. So if you recall, they reduced it following the economic crisis and they were historically at that amount.
It had been historically at 30 and 15.
Yep.
All right, that's all I had, guys. It's election day. Go out and vote or something.
Yes, sir.
Already voted.
Okay, it is 9:52 and we stand adjourned.